What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video and football news video, and we will talk about Troy Deeney's comments. Troy Deeney said that Liverpool's title will be spoiled by this whole pandemic and also that the integrity is gone in the Premier League. So what do you think about Troy Deeney's comments after I tell you guys exactly what he said? And also we will have a major update on the situation whether Liverpool will be able to lift the title at Anfield or whether they would have to play at neutral grounds. There is talk of the Everton-Liverpool game and the Manchester City-Liverpool game potentially being moved to Wembley. So what do you think about that? Do you think it's fair to single out Liverpool as a team that they have to play at neutral grounds until they win the Premier League title? Do you think it's fair or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy these videos, please leave a like and subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you never miss the latest uploads. And Troy Deeney says that he feels sorry for Liverpool because even if they win the Premier League this season, it will be spoiled by the pandemic and by this 2.5-3 month break in the season. So do you agree with that or not? Let me know in the comments below. And Deeney said that any outcome is unfair on Liverpool, who are more than deserving of their first title in 30 years. This is what Deeney said in an interview. I believe that when it comes to the integrity of this season anyway, it's already gone. I feel sorry for Liverpool because no matter how it plays out, they deserve to win the title, they deserve to win the league. But no matter how it plays out, even if we play all the games, it's still going to be the year spoiled by the pandemic. It's not going to be that year that Liverpool won the league being the best team, and you know it's 30 years they haven't won it for. So I do feel sorry for Liverpool and their players and Jordan Henderson, but in terms of integrity, there's no way you could say that this is a viable competition. It's like running a marathon and then after 20 odd miles stopping for 2 months and then sprinting the last bit and going, oh, that was a good time, that. Wow, that is a very strange comments from Deeney. I don't agree with him. I think that in fact, Liverpool are more than deserving of this title, and this is not like a spoiled season. The integrity of the Premier League is not gone in my opinion, because Liverpool and all the other Premier League teams have nothing to do with the pandemic. They weren't the cause of this issue, and also I think Liverpool are the best Premier League team in the history of the competition to win the title because of how well they have done. We have the most points, the biggest win ratio ever in Premier League history, and we have the most efficient and the best Liverpool team of the last 30 years. I put it into another context. I think this will be actually a league title that not just Liverpool fans but fans of every other team will remember vividly. For example, like, can you tell me who won the Premier League in like 2012, for example, or 2013? If you don't support that particular club, you might not remember that title in that particular year very vividly. But everybody, absolutely everybody who follows football will remember who won the title in 2020 because it's the year of this pandemic. And this, of course, disrupting the league, it's not a good thing, but it will probably make Liverpool's title even more memorable to the neutral fans, because Liverpool fans will always remember 2020 as the year where we ended our 30-year wait for the Premier League title. Hopefully we only have to need like 2 wins to confirm the title, and if Man City lose 1 game, then we just need 1 more win to win the title. But I think the neutral fans will probably remember this season more than any other season in the past, like maybe 20 years, because of this incredible scenario. I mean, this is the first time since the Second World War that English football had to be stopped in the middle of the season, and many other leagues had to be stopped in the middle of the season. So I think that it makes it even more memorable. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments below. And Deeney has not returned to training in the first week of training resuming, because he had a 5-month-old child at his home who had breathing difficulty. And Deeney was a very advocate that he will not be forced to return to training. But after like 1 week, I think he returned to training. So I'm not sure if it was a protest against the Premier League resuming training or what his exact agenda was. But let's listen to what Deeney had to say. Personally, I just think that this is showing me that players have so much power if they actually all came together, because Danny Rose and N'Golo Kante and Sergio Aguero all said that they don't really feel 100% safe to return to training. But I also have to add that the Premier League did 1,130 tests in their latest test, testing more than 40 people from each club, players, staff, everybody. And there was 0 positive tests. Absolutely no positive tests from 1,130 tests, which is absolutely fantastic news. I'm really happy about it, and I want the Premier League to be as safe as possible and to resume this league in a safe and secure environment for the players. And I don't want any players, I don't want Troy Deeney to not feel safe returning to training. So I mean, it's the best news possible that no positive tests were. And Troy Deeney also said, I've had a lot of messages of support from people that I wouldn't normally, but certainly from players from bigger clubs, and that shows me that I must be doing something right, because I'm just a little old Troy from Watford and everyone seems to listen to what I say. And Troy Deeney has been a very strong advocate of if a player doesn't feel safe, he shouldn't return to training. And even Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp said that nobody is forced to return to training and nobody is forced to play in the actual games if they don't feel safe to do so. But thankfully Liverpool and all clubs across the Premier League put in many protocols, consulting with medical professionals about to make the training environment, and also later on when the Premier League resumes, to make the whole Premier League as safe and as secure as possible. And Troy Deeney gave a very interesting interview where he said when the experts can't answer simple questions, you start to worry and you start to panic how well the plan is laid out. This is what he said. I think the concern is very much that phases 2, the full contact training, and also phases 3 of playing matches have not been clearly laid out. The plan is not clear. There's been a lot of what I would class as very simple questions that haven't been answered properly. For example, you can talk about the BAME situation. Government guidelines are saying that it's 4 times more likely for people of color to get the illness and twice as likely to have lasting illnesses, but there is no extra screening, there's no additional checks being done on any players because it costs too much money. Simple things like that are where people are asking questions and it's not being answered. When people can't answer questions, you start to panic and start to worry. The health side of it is very big for me. My son has breathing difficulties, Deeney said, and it's a very tough one to be going into something. I agree we are getting tested a lot, and I agree the first phase is probably as safe as it can be. Phase 1 is social distancing, individual training with a coach. That's no problem, that's like going to the park. Phase 2 will be next week, 6 days worth of training, 3 to 6 people training together with contact, and then 6 days after that you are going into 11 versus 11 training, and you can't social distance with 11 versus 11 training. I think that was a question that was raised in this environment. I can control as much as I can, it's the uncontrollable eventually that we'll have to take a risk on. I'm desperate to play football, it's my job, I've got the best job in the world, but there has to be clear and safe measures for everybody, not just me. I saw Tremi Abraham say his dad has asthma and he lives with him, so he has concerns. It's not just players at the bottom who are trying to stay in the league, it's concerns for all players right across the board. I have had a lot of texts from players who are worried about coming out and speaking. And there is a bigger question, Troy Deeney continued, to be had here morally as well. We see a lot about care workers, key workers not getting tested, people dying in nursing homes and things of that nature. Yet we are expected to have just short of 3,500 tests per month as football players, and personal protective equipment for all the stuff. How long will it be until that's the player's fault? Look at these prima donna footballers that are getting all this preferential treatment when there's people dying on the street. That was posed by one of my colleagues as of 5-6 weeks ago. The NHS was in a very bad shape. It was put on footballers to make donations, which was already going to happen but when politicians are calling us out, there's an underlying message that no matter what we do, we are painted to be the bad guys. And this is where Troy Deeney makes a very valid point, a very good point. Footballers shouldn't be called out as the bad guys. There are people with vast amounts of wealth, much richer than regular footballers. And why aren't they being called out of like not helping, not donating a lot more money than footballers are donating? So I think there is a lot of discrepancy between these issues. I do see at the moment a lot of people going out with a "it won't affect me" mentality, and if it does affect you, then you can't expect any kind of sympathy, in my opinion. You can't turn around and say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." We have seen daily the amounts of trauma this disease is causing. So we do have a responsibility as footballers, but we also have people in fortunate positions that are still learning and making mistakes. I would like them to do a bit more research to understand what they can do and just think before you act. And what I have a problem with is you see beaches on in England, so pictures like beaches absolutely packed to the rafters. I also saw pool parties with like hundreds of people packed inside one or two swimming pools just partying together, and I just don't get it. Why do people put themselves at risk? I mean, even if you have a small chance of getting infected, why risk it? I just don't understand the mentality. And the way the media is singling out footballers and football fans as like the bad guys, when regular people at their hundreds or thousands are going to like pool parties and beaches just crammed in a big crowd. I just don't understand why they aren't being called out. Or yeah, it's just a mess, and it's not a good look, definitely. Now let's talk about the potential of Liverpool lifting the title at Anfield. So we have our first game, Everton against Liverpool, and after that we have Liverpool against Crystal Palace. That's our second game, and potentially if we win both games, then we win the title. So we could theoretically lift the title at Anfield. And Merseyside Police actually issued a statement over Premier League stadium plans, and they said that they have no objections to games played at Goodison Park or at Anfield, and they will just provide whatever policing is required for those games. So the Merseyside Police haven't said that they won't allow games being played at Goodison Park or at Anfield. And the police made this statement: in relation to crime and disorder, we have no objections to any of the Everton or Liverpool home fixtures being played at their respective grounds, so at Goodison Park or at Anfield. The Merseyside Police have no problem with that. We have a good working relationship with both clubs and their fan groups, and are content that we can work together in advance of the restart of the season. Decisions in relation to public health risk are made by the government and the Public Health of England, and ultimately the final decision rests with the Safety Advisory Group, which is chaired by Liverpool City Council in line with the decisions made nationally in relation to sporting events. So basically this just gives a green light to Liverpool being cleared for lifting the title at Anfield or even at Goodison Park. I mean, that would be just amazing. Liverpool could forever sing a song of Liverpool winning the title at Goodison Park, but we need Arsenal to beat Manchester City away from home for that to happen, and also Liverpool of course need to win against Everton at Goodison Park. But that would be just an amazing and the most hilarious ground to win the title at. And Jurgen Klopp gave an interview, and he actually said he doesn't really care where Liverpool will win the title. He just wants Liverpool to win the title, and that's it. This is what he said. Wherever it will be, I don't know. We hope it will be at Anfield, but we don't know, and that's not important really. I heard a day ago a really good phrase about that we have the best home fans in the world, and now we need the best stay-at-home fans in the world. We waited a while for this situation, and it's not done yet. We had not stopped. If we had not stopped the league, or it would not have happened, the silly null and void stuff, we wanted to play anyway, and now we are really desperate to play because we want to become champions on the pitch that looks like now we can do that. Most of the people on this planet never have the chance to become champions of the Premier League. For us, it looks like we have the chance, so we take it. Then there will be a moment in our life when we have time and the opportunity and it's allowed to celebrate together. Then we will have a moment and we will celebrate it in the right manner. Whenever that will be, then we decide how much we enjoy it then. It will not be perfect, but we knew this for a while, it would not be perfect, so yeah, we are used to that. We want to have it and then we will see how it feels. I'm pretty sure it will feel pretty good. It's really not important, we just want to be together in that moment, and we will see how much close contact is allowed until then, and we will use each inch of that for sure, only if it's allowed. So I think Jurgen Klopp is just itching towards getting back on the football pitch and just winning the title on the pitch, because that's what we want. The feeling around Liverpool fans was always that even if we got awarded the title, it would feel pretty special, but it wouldn't feel as special as just watching Liverpool winning it on the football pitch, winning a football game, and ultimately winning enough games to win the title, and that's what we want to see. So I'm just really happy and really excited that the Premier League is officially coming back in like 2.5 weeks time. Really pumped for that. And also we could win the title either at Goodison or at Anfield or at any other stadium. It wouldn't really matter to me, because I just want to see Liverpool lifting the Premier League title and Jordan Henderson with the Premier League title in his hands. That would be just such a special feeling. And I also wanted to continue on the Troy Deeney story. He said that when I spoke out, Troy Deeney said, we just got absolutely hammered and battered for it, that we wanted more answers for our questions and I wouldn't train for the first 1 or 2 weeks. Not just us football players that get the abuse. My wife gets direct messages, and you will be walking down the street and people will say, oh, I'm at work, you go back to work. And wow, that must be a pretty bad experience. And he said this: my concerns were purely for family reasons. I have a 5-month-old son who's got breathing difficulties, and so for me, I needed more questions answered with a bit more authority. And at the start, the Premier League really could do that, but I've been fortunate enough to speak to Professor Jonathan Van Tam, who works with the government. He's been doing very good research and a lot of goodwill on his part to tell me ultimately that I'm going to be looked after as best as they can, and ultimately there is going to be some form of risk for all of us going back to work, but they will minimize that risk. I think Troy Deeney ultimately was happy with that, and he actually said that he will go back to training now, so all is good. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to include as many information for you guys as possible. Hope you are staying safe and well. See you later, guys. Goodbye.